Lots of feedback as well about Ian Smith's comments about the TVNZ commentary. So we'll get to that in a second. Tohu Harris, Warriors captain, awaits. Awesome. That's the crowd doing that. That's not the team doing it. It's a happy new year and a warm welcome back to the show. Tohu Harris, thanks so much for joining us.
No worries. Thanks for having me. That sounded great.
Doesn't it sound great, mate? I've got a big smile on my face as soon as I heard that. The hairs are going up on the back of my neck. Look, I speak to so many people. Tohu, we're all missing the NRL, man. We're missing this competition so much.
Yeah, no, I am too. I can't wait for the season to roll around. Especially after last year. It was such a fun year and the support we had was awesome. So looking forward to it.
So just briefly, you obviously haven't just been sitting on your butts doing barbecues over the Christmas period and that. So when did training start? When does it start full on?
So there was a big group that started about maybe 5 weeks before our Christmas break, and then another big group 3 weeks before, and then obviously had the break over Christmas, but we a lot of the boys kept on training and sending in, I guess, what they were doing, and it sort of started something, so everyone sort of jumped on board, and then we started back up on the 8th, back into full training, pre-season training, and getting ready for the trials, which is coming up pretty quick.
Is it a lot easier in the hot sun, getting out there sweating and going through your paces when you had the season that you had last year?
Yeah, I think so. It's you're sort of going out to training, I guess, with more belief in what you're putting into practice. I guess more belief, more experience in it, and you can do things faster. Although I think like how Webby is, we still can't skip past the fundamental side of it. So we have one day where it's literally just like the simplest skills. So we breaks it right, peels it right back, and we just perform the most simple skill over and over again to make sure those fundamentals are strong. But then, obviously, as the week rolls on, heading towards what he calls our game day on Fridays or Saturdays, we work our way towards that. So the drills get bigger, and it's a fun way of doing it because it sort of mimics the season, I guess.
Do you have any fears about the season? I know it probably sounds a strange question, but what I'm trying to get at here, probably in a clumsy way, is that after the success of last year, trying to build on that success and making sure you don't go backwards, is there a fear there about that or not?
No, I guess it's how you look at it. Like personally, I'm excited by the challenge of being even better than last year. I guess if you look at it like that and have that fear, it can really be a negative effect. So I'm looking at it with excitement and as a challenge, and can't wait to try and be better than what we were last year.
And how do you define that?
Well, there's key things that we measure throughout the season that, and we're going through a process at the moment where we're reviewing certain parts of it. And it's sort of, everyone sort of agrees we're good at a lot of things, but we weren't where we wanted to be. We weren't elite at them. And so it shows us that we've still got a whole heap of improvement in it. And we've just gone through the defensive stuff. And I think we finished third best team in the competition. So there's obviously room for improvement there. And that's a goal that we want to achieve. The two best defensive teams in the competition, they played each other in the grand final.
That's right, exactly right.
So there's obviously a clear goal that we have for us, but it's about breaking it down into smaller areas so we know how to get there, not just have a lofty goal and no idea of how we're going to make that happen.
Tohu Harris, Warriors captain, with us. I perfectly understand, and I suppose in a good way. there was a real difference between those two teams, Brisbane and Penrith, as they proved in the playoffs. They went up another level. So I suppose what I'm trying to say is, in a good way, it gives you exactly what it is in front of you. That's how good we got to get, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like the two best sides in the competition, they were there at the end of the year, and yeah, exactly right. They went to another level when the finals came around, and I guess we sort of were the same team, and we didn't play well against those two sides. So it's just more evidence for us that we weren't quite where we wanted to be, and there's still a lot of work to do to get there.
One of the things I had written down, I was going to ask you, then I scrubbed it off this, but I'm just going to make mention of it. I hope that we don't talk at all this year about the fact that you were overseas and camped overseas for those years, because you've been back a year now. That's well behind you.
Yeah. We addressed it very early in preseason last year as a club. Addressed it so we could move forward from it. It obviously was a pivotal part of the club's journey, especially to where we are now. But yeah, it's something that, you know, we just we're excited by what's ahead of us and excited to get there and move forward, I guess.
You know, and this is so cool to hear you say that. And I'd be really, I mean, obviously I'm not going to intrude, but I'd be really interested to know how your family views you and sees you as well, that you've got so much excitement in your voice. I mean, you've been in the league for so long, you're 32 years old, you've won a championship already, but it sounds as though you're as keen as ever.
Yeah, no, I'm excited, and I guess that's why we keep going. It's if you didn't have that excitement to turn up every day and put the body through what it goes through each and every year, it wouldn't be worth it. But, you know, the excitement's still there, the will and want to compete still there, so keep on going.
Your body, and, you know, you go into the field with more badges than Lazarus sometimes. How are you exactly, and how are your knees, and you know, getting another year on the contract? You've got 2 more full years of this to put yourself through.
Yeah, my body's good. It's feeling really good, and training every day throughout preseason with no worries. So the strapping is more for peace of mind than anything. It's not necessarily needed. It's just there, one to as a reminder that, you know, to be careful in some instances, and another reminder just to have that peace of mind to know it's supported, I guess, so I don't have to hesitate with things and all that sort of nonsense. But structurally, it's my body's good.
What's your favourite position, mate, and what do you really want to play?
Oh, I love the role that Webber's given me, playing in the middle, playing in that 13 role, and linking up with the halves, linking up with Shawnee and all that stuff. So yeah, that's really enjoying that role.
I want to put some names to you. Roger is back. Obviously, you're the skipper. He's kind of like, I feel like, maybe a spiritual skipper of the team. Is that a nice way of saying it? Yeah. He's been awesome to have back. Everyone's just in awe of how hard he trains and what he puts his body through to each and every day, and how far he pushes it to get the most out of it. So it's certainly spurring on a few of the boys to push themselves a bit more. Do we know what position he's going to be starting in yet?
No, it's still a bit unclear. He's sort of just jumping in, trying to learn as much as he can, learn the new system as much as he can, and get as many reps in different places as possible. And I'm not even sure he knows. I think there's an idea of how it can look, and the possibilities of a couple of different possibilities. So whether it's centre, wing, fullback, it's sort of he's got to have an idea of all those positions. But him and Webby sort of probably have more of an idea than the rest of us. We're sort of just going along with it and excited that he's going to be somewhere.
Centre, wing, fullback. Is there a chance that he could get closer to the ruck with his hands on the ball? I know that the number 6 has been suggested before. I don't know whether he's thought of that or whether he's even tried any of it.
Yeah, I don't know about in that position, but like whatever position he plays, I'm sure maybe we'll have a way of getting him in closer anyway, and because he's such a dangerous player with the ball in his hands, like why wouldn't you throw him in there somewhere and terrorise the ruck.
As for Addin, big Addin, who was just such a monster last year, when you get a guy that is leaving the club in a year's time, how easy is it to just put that to one side and focus entirely on this year? I can imagine, and I don't know the man, but I can imagine that he brings 100 every time regardless, and that whether he's actually told you guys, don't worry about that kind of stuff, I'm giving it absolutely everything for the club this year. Is that the message that you would get from him?
Yeah, no, he's addressed that with the team, and he sort of reassured everyone like he's 100% all on board for this year. He wants to go out in the best possible way, and that's all we've seen at training. Like he's been putting his best foot forward, training hard, and trying to get better. And I guess that's probably the biggest sign. People can sort of say all they want, stuff like that, but if you don't see that effort at training, then you're not too sure if they're sort of 100%. But he's been putting in the effort, and it's it's exciting because he can do some damage on the footy field. So
he's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, to have him all in for his last year here, it means only good things for the club.
In cricket, with the fast bowlers, they're very careful in the nets when they're up against their most precious batsmen not to go full tit at them and stuff like that. So when you guys train, do you actually go full combat mode at any time?
There's certain drills they want us to. There's certain drills that aren't. So it depends on what they're trying to work on. Because there's some drills where if you go full tilt, there could be people landing on back of people's legs and all that sort of stuff. It can get a bit chaotic. So certain drills they want us to be a bit more controlled. But there's certainly times where they just say it's all on. Let's go for it.
Wow. I tell you what, can I pick Addin? Can you be on my team? I mean, that's what I'd be doing. If I'm the captain, if I'm you, I'm saying I get to pick first. I get him.
Yeah, it's not fun. That.
See, I mean, as crazy as it sounds, I've always thought they should raffle, a spot during a test match where somebody gets to bowl the cricket thing. I know that every single Warriors fan would love to think that they could stand in front of that guy. But how much of a beast is he to bring down?
Yeah, he's. I think everyone in competition would agree that he's certainly one of the hardest players to tackle. But it's not even his size. His size adds to it, but it's his footwork that. For such a big guy, he's got he moves laterally really quickly, and it's actually hard to when you're expecting someone to running that hard, expecting them to not be able to move too far sideways, and he does. It's hard to get your hands on him.
Yeah, that momentum. Kurt Capewell. Everything that we read, that we hear, that people say about this guy, he just seems like the best kind of player to bring to the Warriors. Tell us about him.
Yeah, he's been awesome. He's brought a positive and hardworking attitude. He's still learning us and learning the system as well. So it's going to take a little bit of time there, but yeah, he's showing his experience. So it's not taking him long to sort of get things and add to the team, I guess. So he's a little bit like Mitch Barnett. They sort of just hard workers. They're two of the fittest players in the team, not just in the forwards, but in the team. And you know what you're going to get from them each and every week. So we're very excited to have them.
Thank you so much for your time. I want to go just right back. So what is the bare minimum achievement for you guys this year? Coming what, third last year? Do you look at the table again and go, we've got to get at least third, or is it first and foremost top 8? How do you assess that?
Well, yeah, I think for us we don't assess the the final result, because if you're putting that kind of pressure on yourself, you probably won't reach it. It's our standards and processes that we're confident if we hit those each and every week, like whether it's in training or in games, if we reach the marks we want to reach, then by the end of the year we are fully confident we'll be around there. So yeah, we're not looking at the table, we've got to finish here or whatever like that. It's we've got to reach these standards each and every week. If we do that, we're going to be in a good spot at the end of the year.
And finally, a message for the fans. What is it?
We want to see them out there again. So, so bring your voices, come in numbers, exactly like you did last year, and up the wires.
Fantastic talking to you, mate. Thank you so much. I promised myself, I said after 15 minutes, I've got to let you go because I've taken too much of your time. Tohu, it's always a pleasure, mate. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, brilliant. Tohu Harris, Warriors captain with us. I hope that we asked some of the questions that you wanted to hear there, people. He's a treat, isn't he? He's a gentleman, isn't he?